Hi lovelies, welcome back to my channel. So today we're going to be talking about all things Hermes, based off of the two bags you can see in the frame. As promised, I'm going to be talking about pretty much my Hermes journey. I wouldn't want to call it that, but whatever, that's what everybody calls it right now in the luxe community. And it pretty much was my journey to pretty much purchasing these two bags, and how I went about getting them in 2 months of unnecessarily shopping with Hermes. However, I got these two bags in 2 months, within 2 months of each other. So first of all, I definitely want to just say, please actually buy what you actually love from the brand. If all you want is a Birkin or a Kelly from the brand and maybe nothing else from the brand pretty much tickles your fancy, then don't patronize a brand, or better yet, just go to the pre-loved market and get whatever you want from there. Just make sure you don't get scammed, please, because there's a lot of sellers, resellers out there, and you just want to be sure that you are purchasing an authentic item. Make sure you authenticate it and all that good stuff. But anyways, when it comes to my journey with Hermes, I wouldn't say I primarily started shopping because of the bags. I definitely didn't start shopping because of the bags. The first time I actually went into the store was in, I would say, 2021, which is 3 years ago. And the first time I went into the store was to purchase an item for my husband. So I honestly, of course, I knew about the Birkin, I knew about the Kelly, I knew about the bags that they had. And I mean, I did like them, but honestly, I wasn't really invested in using or getting an Hermes bag at the time. What my interests were at that time were pretty much, I was very much into Chanel at the time, and just other brands, not only Chanel, to be honest. I love Dior. I still love the brands. I love Dior, I love Chanel, I love Louis Vuitton, and the other brands were definitely, I had other bags that I was still enjoying at the time and that I was looking to purchase from the brand. So quota bag wasn't really what I was looking for at the time. I'm just gonna pretty much start with how I started shopping at Hermes. And like I said earlier, the first time I purchased anything from Hermes wasn't for me, or I wasn't even thinking about the possibility of getting a bag, because I really didn't understand or know whatever it took or what it took. And as I'll further explain, you get to see more or hear more. So the first time I went in was in 2021. I purchased a pair of Izmir sandals for my husband. I think it was probably for his birthday. And I purchased them because I knew that I liked the way they looked on guys' like feet. So I purchased those, and my husband really liked them. He was enjoying them. And that was actually where I met my essay. I had a great experience with him. And I left, and I fast forward a few months later. I went back again, I would say about this was around Christmas 2021, to purchase another pair of Izmir sandals. And Izmir sandals are like the male Horan sandals. I got those ones for him, and just met with the same essay. Coincidentally, the second time I went back into the store, my current essay attended to me again. This was just pure coincidence. This was just a pure coincidence, and it was nice. I doubt he remembered me at the time, but he was nice to me again, as always. I had a great experience with him, very professional, and wasn't snooty. The first few times I just went in there, asked for items, and left. So I purchased the second Izmir sandals from the same essay, and so fast forward from 2021 December to July 2022, I did not purchase anything else from the store. However, when it was July 2022 again, I really had no idea what to get for my husband's birthday at the time. So this was where I would say my relationship with my SA started to build, because I was like, you know what, I want to get something. And so what I was doing, or what I was doing at the time, is I wanted to just get a bunch of like different gifts for my husband for his birthday week. And I said, you know what? That's why I went back to Hermes again. I'm like, okay, I'll pick something from Hermes as well for one of the days that I'm going to gift him something. So I went back there and asked, okay, so what? I'm trying to gift him something. He already has 2 Izmir sandals. He's enjoying them. Do you have any suggestions? So that really opened up, a line of communication between myself and my SA. And he suggested a bunch of things. And we settled on a belt. And of course, that was really just what sparked our, conversation. So that was in July 2022. So I went back again in July. And I mean, at this point, because I went back, twice in the same month, I feel like she remembered me at that point. And this time, I was there to purchase a white, white Oran sandals for myself. I wanted to get the Oran sandals just to see, what the hype was about, because I just felt like, okay, people say they're comfortable, and I'm like, let me try it out. So I purchased the Oran sandals, and I remember like when I was about to check out, my essay was like, okay, so what's your profile? Like, do you have what's your phone number? And I gave him my phone number, and he's like, nothing is pulling up. I was like, do you actually have a profile with us? And I was like, I don't know. I guess not. And he's like, oh, wow. So he created a profile for me, and newsflash. I mean, now that I'm looking back, clearly all the first few items that I purchased back in 2021 and early 2022 didn't count, towards my pre-spend. But anyways, I was like, okay, so I created my account, and my first official item that was on from my purchase history were my white Oran sandals. I loved the Oran sandals so much. I'm like, okay, this is so cool. I had that for, I would say, about 6-7 months, and I decided to add another pair. I got gold Oran sandals, which are like the tan looking ones. I went back to get those ones. I feel like by the time I purchased my second Oran sandals, this was I would say, this was still 2022, right? I was starting to explore the idea of getting a bag, right? And I started to do a little bit more research. Okay, what is it about this brand? Like, you can't just go in and ask for a Birkin and Kelly, right? How do you go about it? But anyways, I really still was not so, I would say, I didn't have any urgent wants when it came to Hermes bags at the time. It was like a nice to have, but I just felt like it's difficult to get it from the store. That was my mindset. So I was like, you know what? I'm not even gonna, and of course, I'm not about to pay double the price for a bag that, you can actually get from the store for cheaper. So anyways, that was my own mindset. So my my strategy was just to keep buying whatever I liked, because I had watched a bunch of videos and I heard, buy what you love, just take your time. And I wasn't in a hurry. I think the only 2 things I bought in 2022 for myself were the Oran sandals. Then in 2023, I purchased my Kelly Osmeals. I purchased a perfume gift set for a friend of mine as a birthday gift. And I also bought some Kelly shoes, some shoes. I don't know what they're called. Kind of like, they look like some suede shoes from the men's department for my husband again. And this time it was fast forward to 2023, right? I purchased those, and my essay was the one who picked those as well. My husband was in love with the shoes. Whenever I purchase anything for my husband, I send it to my essay. I'm like, oh, my husband loves this, because I heard that they actually do because the first, few times you purchase stuff from them, they're trying to still feel you out, make sure you're not a reseller. You're not just there to buy it, a few things and get a bag offer. So I would send him like videos of maybe pictures of my husband wearing them, and he's like, oh, thanks for this picture, I really appreciate it, da, 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 da. Glad you guys are enjoying the products or enjoying the items. So, well, fast forward, I would say July 2023, I asked for the ship sandals, and I was like, okay, I want to get the ship sandals in color black, and I want it to be black on black. I don't want any like color combinations. And he was like, oh well, he just kind of looked at me and smiled, and he was like, well, there's a wait list. However, I could put you down, put your information down, and whenever it becomes available, I would definitely, let you know. So I'm like, wow, for the ship sandals? Okay. So I was like, okay, that's what I want. He asked for the specifications. Tell me what it is you want. Whenever it becomes available, I'll make sure to, put you on the list. So he brought out his work phone and was like putting the specifications. And he's like, you know what? Do you have anything else that you would want? Mind you, I had shopped at this point. This was in 2023. So I had shopped nonstop with him back to back for, I would say, a year. And I never ever mentioned anything about a quota bag. I didn't mention anything because I feel like a little part of me just didn't want to, because I really wasn't, to be honest. I was impressed about getting it when I had no like time frame as to when I wanted the bag. So I really was still like playing with the idea of getting the bag, or when I was going to get the bag, or when I was going to, actually ask to put my wish list in. And in 2023, summer of 2023, we had plans of going to Paris. So I was like, you know what? I'm going to try my luck there. If I get a bag offer there, that would be great. Anyways, we all know how that went. It didn't go, but that's a different story. So he asked for my wish list, and he's like, do you have anything else that you would want? Anything you need? Anything you would like? I'm like, now that you ask, there's some bags that I'm interested in. And he was like, okay, fine. And he's very matter of fact. He's very straight to the point. He's like, okay, just send me a text message with all the specifications you want, and color, hardware, bags, different bags. Just give me all the choices you want, colors, leather, everything. So I went home, did my research. I gave him a bunch of things. Because I was like, you know what? I also heard, okay, try not to pick like the, highly coveted colors, because that might be harder to pick. Try to pick bigger sizes. Da, da, da. There's so many things on social media, right? So I didn't put black. I actually specifically did not add black to my wish list. I asked for, actually on my first wish list, I believe I had the Birkin 25, Birkin 30, Kelly 28s. I had a mini Lindy, which now looking back, I definitely don't want a mini Lindy. I'm not interested. But I had a Pinkerton on my list as well. It was a bunch of, I just gave him like a huge blanket list, and I just left it at that. So in September, I think I went back into the store in August again. Probably purchased I purchased a gift for a friend as well from him. Oh, I went back in August to look for some shoes for my mom, but I couldn't find anything she couldn't find anything she liked. So it's kind of like, okay, what she wanted wasn't available, and she wasn't willing to compromise. I'm like, okay, good, whatever. So he was like, okay, if it becomes available, I'll let you know. So in September, I kept popping. Well, whenever I was around Hermes, I was just popping to the store, and without appointments pretty much, and would not be able to see him because he was always with clients. And there was this one day, I went into the store. Actually, this day I was with my husband, and he's like, you know what, let's just go into the store and just see. I'm like, I think it'd be better to get an appointment. We had no plans of going to the store. We were just around Hermes, and he was like, let's just go, you never know. So we went into the store. Mind you, this is like 5:30. We get there, and they're like, oh, he's attending to a a client upstairs and stuff. We waited for like 15, 20 minutes, and he still wasn't done. So I'm like, I mean, what could they be buying? So we walk upstairs, and lo and behold, he's offering this lady a bag. So myself and my husband are walking upstairs, and my husband was like, well, I don't even think because my local boutique is very notorious for not having bags on display. So I was like, you know what? I've actually like never really seen a lot of them up and close. They're, they're just never available, not even for display purposes. So I was like, my husband was like, you know what? I don't even think these people even have any like bags available. Maybe they just don't have any bags. Lo and behold, we get upstairs and see my essay sitting down with a lady, and she's like showing her two different bags. I nearly gagged. I'm like, oh my gosh. I felt like someone was like stepping out on me. I'm like, oh my goodness. Oh, I gagged. And I'm like, oh, I was so like, I feel like then that's when I was like, wow, they actually do have these bags. They're just tripping with these like playing coy and playing these like quote unquote game of, oh, nothing's available right now, oh, nothing is available. I'm like, okay, all right, all right. So I didn't say anything. We didn't get to see him because of course he was still attending to the other client, and of course I didn't have an appointment. So I was like, you know what, let's just leave. So a few days later, he had sent me a message about a new collection of homeware that was, going to be on display at our local boutique. And he invited us to take a look at them. And we went there, and this was a Saturday. So it was like a bunch of days that it was going to be on display. And we went there on the last day because, I mean, it was a weekend, and that was when we had the time. Myself and my husband were there. So we're just going to, just spend the day together and just use that time to just, go pop into Hermes and go and come back. So we get there, guys, and we wait and wait. Mind you, I scheduled an appointment. We wait and wait and wait. 30 minutes passed. And one thing about my amazing essay is that whenever he's attending to you, he is taking his time with you. That's one thing I appreciate about him. But if you're waiting on him, you can get pretty frustrated potentially. So we were there for about 45 minutes. I mean, he because the couple who was there with him was really, taking their time, looking at different things, and they were just taking their time. I'm like, oh my gosh. At some point, my husband and I were like, you know what? Maybe we should just go. But my essay would try to appease us a little bit, like he's trying to like be quick and be fast and da da da. I'm like, well, okay. Eventually, after about 50 minutes, I would say, he's done. He got done with them. Oh, let me backtrack a little bit. So, 2 weeks before, he invited us for the event. He just like randomly asked me. He's like, "Oh, by the way, what do you think about the Constance 18?" And I was like, I mean, it's a cute bag. I really hadn't done too much research into in the on the Constance. I was like, I mean, it's a cute bag. I'm like, how much does it hold? That was the first question I asked. Or what's like the capacity? He was like, it's a good I think it's a good size. It's a good capacity. I'm like, okay. I said, well, yeah. And he said, oh. Then he looked at my bracelets, my stack, and he was like, oh, I see you like rose gold. And I was like, yeah, I do. So he said, okay. That's all he said. And I'm like, okay. So I was like, okay, cool. So at that point, I'm getting excited because I had never brought up the Constance with him. For him to have asked, and now that I know him, I know his style, definitely he already had that in mind, for me. So after we're there about 50 minutes and he attends to us, at that point, I'm just like ready to go. I was like, okay, we just came to take a look at the whatever was on display, and I believe I wanted to pick up an Avalon blanket, and he was like, so I after picking up the blanket, I asked him, I'm like, oh, by the way, like, do you have the shoes coming for my mom? And he was like, no, but I have another surprise for you. I was like, okay. And he was like, give me a second. So he went inside, and I guess he went to the back, and about 15 minutes later came out with this like little cute box and presented the Constance to me. And while he was taking his sweet time to open the bag, like the box, and unwrap the. I wish, I filmed an unboxing, however, but I was so busy late last year, I didn't have the time. Oh, and mind you, this is October 2023. Opens the bag up, and this beautiful bag. I really wasn't expecting black, because my whole list, I was like, you know what, I'm not gonna put black for anything. I'm not gonna, because I don't want to even like limit my chances. I already have like a lot of colors in my collection, or a lot of black, sorry. So I'm open to pops of color. And I always said, if I'm gonna get a Birkin, I don't think I want a black. Like, I don't want a black Birkin for at least my first Birkin. I don't want a black Birkin. Why would I want to have a black Birkin? This is, I mean, it's a classic, of course. Why not? However, I was open to a pop of color. So he opened the box up, and I see this beautiful Constance 18 in Epsom with rose gold hardware. Like, I was so excited. I was so ecstatic. I was just so happy. He was like, yes. He was like, and rose gold is kind of harder to come by, because, they're starting to do more, like, make more bags in rose gold. However, it's not as common as yellow gold. I'm like, yeah, I know. I was so excited. He was like, yeah, I just, had this in mind for you guys. That's why I wanted you to come. And I'm like, oh my gosh, thank you so much. I'm so excited. I was happy. And, I mean, not like I'm trying to sell the bag or, sell the bag or nothing, but I looked at the resale value of the bag, and I'm like, okay, it's a good coin. I mean, because it's an Epsom, and the Constance 18 right now, because of smaller bags doing better right now on the resale market, or people being into smaller bags, it has a good resale value. So I was like, okay, good. So anyways, in October, I got the Constance 18. So post getting to the Constance 18, so we ended up getting ship sandals for my husband. He came into the store with me and purchased one, and I believe I bought one for him. Then I got the Kelly ring. So the Kelly ring I've been wearing, I wore it in my previous video. I'm not sure if the camera is going to catch this. So I got the Kelly ring after my Constance purchase, just because, it's just, I was like, you know what, I'm speaking this, having faith that my Birkin is going to be here. And I think the Kelly ring is just a little nod to the Birkin. I'm like, oh, you know what, I'm going to gift that to myself. I got that for myself. And I also got some homeware items from the store. And I was like, you know what, I'm just going to wait and see what they have to offer. So fast forward November, I was on the website, and I saw this beautiful finesse necklace, and I just fell in love with it. And I'm like, it is just so beautiful, just so gorgeous. And I just like the idea that, with the exclusion of me and seeing a few people on social media, I have never seen it in person on someone else. So I was like, you know what? Yes, I love it. Because it's not screaming Hermes. It's not like the Constance necklaces or the ones that have the Kelly or the Birkin on them. Those ones just look a little bit more interesting. That's really just not my style. But the finesse necklace, I just fell in love with. And I'm like, you know what? I asked him, like, do you guys by any chance have this available in store? And he's like, oh yeah, come in. So I went into the store to purchase it. And when I was at the store, he was like, did I ever actually, like, have we actually tried out the bags? I'm like, no. So he was like, okay, 1 second. So he goes to the back and brings a bunch of like, what's it called? A bunch of display bags. He brings the Birkin 25, the Birkin 30, the Kelly 25. Doesn't even, and he brings out the Constance 24. He doesn't even bother bringing out the Kelly 28 because he's like, because I'm pretty petite. For reference, I am 5'2", about 129, 130 pounds. And he's like, honestly, the Kelly 28 is going to be too big for you. So I was like, okay, that's fine. But he brought out the Kelly 28, 25, and I'm like, oh, this is the perfect size. And he's like, okay, can we go over your wish list again? I'm like, I mean, I thought you had, in my mind, I'm just thinking, I thought you had it. But he's like, let's go over it again. So we go over it. I tell him, the specs. I'm like, when I saw the Birkin 25, I'm like, oh my gosh, this bag is tiny. It's really crazy how small the Birkin 25 is. I was just so overwhelmed. I did not make any videos of the Birkin 20, holding the Birkin 25, but I believe I made one video holding the Kelly 25 or carrying the Kelly 25. I'll try to see if I can insert it into this video. So I was like, okay, it's definitely Birkin 30 for me. I definitely want a Birkin 30 next. And I am open to Kelly 28 still and the 25. And he was like, fine. So we were going to be taking a trip in December. And so we're just discussing, and I had asked him what he had planned for the holidays. He shared with me, and at that point, of course, we had definitely just become like more friendly, right? So I had told him, oh, I'm going to be traveling, I'm going to be, da da da. Oh, and the day I purchased the necklace, I believe I purchased the scarf as well. I purchased the 90 centimeter scarf, and I'm like, oh, he was like, I have a good color that would really match, the vibe of the place you're going. And he brought it out. It was Dubai, and he brought it out, and it was like, oh, really beautiful, really flamboyant and colorful. And I was like, yeah, sure. Picked it up, and he was like, when are you traveling again? I was like, well, we're gonna be leaving, so. And he was like, okay, cool. So didn't say anything, and he's very, very he's always vague. He's not gonna say much. He's not gonna commit too much. But from my experience now, whenever he does ask you about a bag, you're pretty much he just wants to see if you're gonna accept the bag, or just wants to know if I'm gonna accept the bag. So one random day we go, we're around Hermes again, and we just pop into the store, and I went to pick up I think it was a birthday gift for a friend of mine. I went in there to pick it up, and he's like, what do you think about the color Baton? I'm like, Baton? Mind you, I don't know why, when he said Baton, I was thinking biscuit. So I was like, yes. And color biscuit is more like a lighter, a little bit lighter than chai, I think. It's like in between, maybe in between gold and chai. I'll try to see if I can find a picture and put it on the screen. But yeah, I was like, yeah, sure. So anyways, as soon as I get home, I Google the color Baton. I'm like, oh my God. Immediately, I start having palpitations. I'm like, oh my goodness, it's so light. It's so light. I'm scared. Because the picture I saw online was just a little bit lighter. However, this color is just perfect. It's perfection. Anyways, after he says he thinks, something might come up, it's going to be but he not said, however, it's going to be in gold hardware. I'm like, it's perfect, actually. I feel like it would warm the bag up even more. If it's in palladium hardware, it might make it a little bit too cool and make it look even lighter. So I'm like, I'm definitely, I would love it in in gold hardware. And he was like, okay, sure. And that was the last conversation. So on, I believe, on the 24th of November. So this is literally the following month after getting my Constance. I get a message from him saying, "Hello dear, here's a surprise." And he just takes a screenshot of the approval of the bag that he had put aside for me. I was super excited, and I was like, yes, yes, yes. I will be there to pick it up as soon as it's available. Because he was like, the bag has been approved. However, he's not sure if it's in store yet. This was a bag that was pretty much like set aside for, me as soon as it came into the store, and it just made it so special for me. And honestly, looking back at my, once again, journey, I just feel like it wasn't unpleasant at all. It was even more exciting because I didn't have the pressure of, oh, I want a bag now. I want it right now. I must get it right now. I really just enjoy the process. If you really just want a bag, you don't want to deal with having any quote unquote relationship with anybody, you're not into having conversations with the essays, Hermes is probably not the, going into the store will probably be a nasty experience for you, because they really, really do value those relationships. They value you exploring their brand as a whole. And surprisingly, you would see that they have a bunch of things in there. And interestingly, things that are actually significantly cheaper from other luxury houses. Ooh, I actually purchased the Bouncing sneakers too, which are significantly cheaper than every other. Well, at least I know Louis Vuitton is more expensive, but their sneakers are more expensive. So, I mean, I was pleasantly surprised when I, started to explore the brand even more and see that they had a lot of nice things. I love their perfumes because they have a lot of citrusy scents, and I love citrusy smells. So I actually, like, by default love their perfumes. They have nice lip oils. I mean, I haven't explored like their like foundations and stuff. I don't think I would go that route. But like their lipsticks, their lip oils, amazing. I love them so much. So that was really my journey to actually purchasing my Birkin. And I would say it was a very, very interesting and, enjoyable experience. And right now, I mean, my essay and myself have a personal relationship. We're asking about each other's kids, and it's just nice, checking in on each other. It's just, I mean, and I really appreciate that about the brand. So, yeah, that pretty much sums up my Hermes journey and my journey into purchasing these two bags. So pretty much I got offered this bag, I believe, first week in October, and I got my Birkin offer last week in November. So yeah, it was definitely not like I purchased I went in there and purchased two bags within 2 months. However, whenever I did express that I was interested in getting a bag, it really was nothing too difficult to get. And I'm enjoying the bag so much. The Constance is underrated, guys. That is an underdog. This bag is amazing. So anyways, enough of that. So that pretty much sums up my video. If you've watched the video up until this point, let me know in the comment section down below how your Hermes journey is going, or how it went, or if you're not into that, what you think about the brand overall. And thank you so much for watching once again. Please don't forget to comment, like, and subscribe to my channel. It really, really helps my channel grow, and I'm still very much trying to put a lot of videos out so I can keep growing. And yeah, thank you guys so much for watching, and see you in my next video. Bye.